Jack Thompson, a private investigator, scans the skyline of Baytown, a metropolis teeming with secrets. He knows the city holds a dark underbelly that few dare to explore. He also knows that his latest case will take him there. Jack receives a call from Eleanor Monroe, a desperate woman who claims her husband, Henry Monroe, a wealthy businessman, has gone missing. She begs Jack to find him, offering a hefty reward. Jack agrees, sensing something more than a simple disappearance. Jack arrives at the Monroe mansion, a lavish estate surrounded by a high fence. Meets Eleanor, a stunning blonde with a cold demeanor. She leads him to her husband's study and shows him a photo of Henry, a middle-aged man with a stern face, and tells Jack that Henry left for a business trip 2 weeks ago but never returned, and she has no idea where he went or who he met. Jack asks Eleanor some questions, but she gives vague and evasive answers. He notices a tension in her voice, a hint of fear in her eyes. He wonders what she is hiding. Jack takes the photo and leaves, promising to keep in touch. While driving to office in a small and shabby place in a rundown neighborhood, Jack greets his assistant, Maggie O'Connor, a smart and loyal redhead who helps him with his cases. Jack shows her the photo and tells her about the case. She does some research on Henry Monroe and finds out that he is a powerful and influential figure in Baytown, with connections to the city's elite and the underworld, has a reputation for being ruthless and secretive. Jack decides to start his investigation by visiting some of Henry's associates, goes to a nightclub called the Velvet Lounge, owned by Vincent Rossi, a suave and charming man who knows everything that happens in Baytown, finds Vincent in his office, surrounded by beautiful women and expensive liquor. Jack shows him the photo and asks him if he knows anything about Henry's disappearance. Vincent smiles and says he hasn't seen Henry in a while, but he heard he was involved in some shady deals. He says he doesn't know the details, but he warns Jack to be careful, says Henry has made some enemies, and some of them are very dangerous. He mentions Dominic Santoro, a ruthless mob boss who controls most of the crime in Baytown. Henry and Dominic had a falling out over some business, and Dominic swore to get revenge. Jack thanks Vincent for the information and leaves, calls Maggie and tells her to look into Dominic Santoro. He drives to Dominic's headquarters, a warehouse in the industrial district, sneaks in and sees Dominic and his men loading some crates into a truck. Jack recognizes some of the men as suspects in a string of unsolved murders that have been plaguing Baytown and realizes that Henry's disappearance is connected to the murders. Jack takes out his camera and snaps some photos of the scene. Tries to get closer, but he is spotted by one of Dominic's men. Jack runs to his car, but he is chased by Dominic and his men. Jack manages to escape, but not before Dominic fires a shot at his car, hitting his rear window. Jack drives back to his office, where he shows Maggie the photos. She confirms that the men in the photos are the same ones who have been linked to the murders. She says the murders are all similar, the victims are all stabbed multiple times, their throats are slit, and their bodies are dumped in different locations. She says the police have no leads, no motives, and no suspects. Jack thinks that Henry might have been one of the victims, or he might have witnessed one of the murders, wonders why Dominic would kill Henry, and what Henry was doing with him. Jack decides to go back to Eleanor and confront her with his findings. Jack drives to the Monroe mansion, but finds it surrounded by police cars and ambulances, Eleanor being carried out on a stretcher, covered in blood. He runs to her and asks what happened. Eleanor says someone broke into the house and attacked her. She doesn't know who it was, but thinks it was someone who wanted to hurt Henry. She doesn't know where Henry is, but she begs Jack to find him, says she loves him, and can't live without him. Jack is shocked by her words. He wonders if she is telling the truth, or lying to him. Wonders if she is involved in the murders, or is a victim. He wonders if he can trust her, or if he should suspect her. Jack decides to find out the truth and follows a trail of clues that lead him into the heart of Baytown's criminal underworld. He faces danger, deception, and betrayal and discovers secrets that will change his life forever. Jack confronts the mastermind behind the murders, a person he never expected to see. It is Eleanor, who has faked her injuries and escaped from the hospital. She reveals that she was behind everything, She killed Henry and the others for money and power, used Jack as a pawn and manipulated him to get what she wanted. She says that she is sorry, but not really. Jack is stunned by her confession and asks her why she did it, how she could do it. She says that she did it because she wanted more, she was bored and is smarter than everyone, she is the true echoes of the shadows. Jack realizes that he has been fooled by her all along and has fallen for her lies and charms. He regrets ever meeting and trusting her. Jack decides to end her reign of terror and to stop her from hurting anyone else. He draws his gun and shoots Eleanor, killing her instantly. As Eleanor falls to the ground, Jack feels a mix of relief and sorrow. He has brought justice to Baytown and uncovered the truth behind its darkest secrets. He has solved the case of Henry Monroe, but he has paid a high price for it. Jack has learned the meaning of echoes of the shadows.